Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering Arbiter's first mouse, the Akitsu. This is a carbon fiber composite coming in at 38 grams in a small, beautiful form factor. I'll show you guys a close-up of the mouse here, and you guys can see really the design elements are just absolutely beautiful, particularly on the bottom of the mouse where you have this dragonfly cutout, the carbon fiber look that kind of shines with light hitting it. And the heart of the dragonfly is the 3395 sensor. Really just comes off as a beautiful design aesthetic. In terms of the mouse, you guys can see I've actually got two here. I'm going to be giving one of these away, so keep your eyes on my Twitter page. I'll be giving it away there, but you will need to be subscribed as well. So if you guys aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button if you're interested in this particular mouse. Now, you guys can see you do have the hexagon cutouts here. To me, they are just nothing that is in any way, shape, or form something that feels off to me, just as though other mice do not either. The grips are really nice. They have a nice level of thickness to them that makes it very easy to apply compared to other grips out of the box. They just feel premium. They have a really nice design to them. I really do appreciate these and enjoy them very much. The mouse comes in again at 38 grams, and at 38 grams, this mouse is essentially indestructible. I mean, this thing, you can push as hard as you can all over the mouse, and even on the bottom of the mouse, there's just no bottom flex, there's no side flex, there's no top flex, compared to the ULX Small, any of the ULXs. The material just does not bend in any way, shape, or form. So compared to the ULX that was released, this thing is leagues ahead in terms of durability and overall premium quality feel, coming in at $49 cheaper. It is using a unique new switch. It is using a custom Dragon Claw switch, but to me it feels along the lines of a Blue Shell Pink Dot, something that you guys are probably familiar with. It does feel very nice. It sounds great. I have no issues with the switches at all. It's just something that really does feel fantastic in terms of its implementation on the mouse. The side buttons I do wish were a little bit different. To me, they are a little bit on the small side, and you can see that the side buttons do have kind of like they come to an elongated point. So when you are hitting them, or touching them, they do feel quite pointed, like we saw. I'm trying to think, kind of like, I think maybe the Aerox 3 had buttons like this. But either way, you get used to them. They feel good in game. No significant pre or post travel. The buttons do get the job done, and I had no issues once I got used to them. In terms of overall build quality, the only thing that I would point to is mouse 3 does feel a little on the tight side. So if you're somebody who uses that to like ping in Apex, or you're using it quite frequently, it does take a little bit more force to hit. But over time, it does loosen up a little bit. But out of the box, it's very stiff. And then even when it loosens up, it's kind of like on the moderate side. Not too much force required, but definitely more than like a lot of other mice. But the encoder here, being a TTC Gold, feels really great. Something that really does have like silent steps, but ones that feel very pronounced. Like it just feels great if you're somebody who binds, tap strafes and wall jumps, things like that. Just something that feels really good in terms of the overall scroll wheel. And I think they did a good job picking these switches, this encoder, for their first mouse. The internals are fantastic. There's not a lot to talk about. It's a 3395. It's using a top Nordic MCU. Everything here in terms of performance, 4K, 8K, I had no issues at all. And one of the beautiful things is the mouse comes with a dongle that does provide you all the information there, like battery life, hertz, polling rate, DPI. And when you do change your polling rate, it is absolutely instantaneous on the dongle itself. So really, really cool. And just features, again, that just feel more premium than Final Mouse, and the build quality feels even better than most or a majority of Razer and Logitech mice. So for their first mouse, Arbiter Studio did absolutely fantastic. Obviously, this is Vancer's, bazillionth mouse, and I can say that it's definitely Vancer's best job to date. It is just indestructible build quality here that matches its performance. Really, really nice. At 38 grams, The weight balance here to me feels perfect. The only thing that I would say is in terms of its size, because it's a little bit more compact, you do feel those 38 grams. So it's still exceptionally light. It feels really good. And again, it's going to be one of the top small mice picks. In my opinion, one of my top small mice recommendations on the market. The only problem is the availability, whether or not you guys are going to be able to get your hands on this in the first place, since it is limited. So really, I don't have a lot to point to on the Akitsu here that is not really a premium experience. The skates, I would definitely change out. The dot skates, default dot skates, to me feel scratchy on almost every pad that I've used. In terms of glass pads, I haven't actually used them on glass, but all like cloth pads, the skates are just kind of meh. And the pre and post travel on mouse 1 and mouse 2, like pre-travel is almost non-existent. Nothing I felt in game. There's a little bit of post travel that does feel like a little bit of flex on the material on mouse 1 and mouse 2 over the switches, and you can kind of see it. You get actuation on the switch, and then it's just that post travel that kind of flexes the material over those switches. And in terms of side flex, I really don't have any side flex on mouse 2. Mouse 1, however, towards the top, if you're spraying, mouse 1 can feel like it kind of moves side to side a little bit. And like movies when like somebody steps on a stair and it makes like that flex noise, that's like kind of what you feel with mouse 1. But as long as you're not somebody who even moves your finger or drags your finger when you're spraying in game, you're not going to feel that. And even when you do, it's so minor that it's just almost not even worth mentioning. But it is something that at times in game, you might feel as you're holding down mouse 1. Both copies actually do have that little bit of sway on mouse 1. Other than that, both copies literally feel absolutely immaculate and match the tank-like build quality. So that's really all I got, separate and apart from some size and shape comparisons. You guys can see it next to the X2H Mini. Again, the mouse is going to come in bigger than a ULX Small, smaller than a Beast X Regular. And I think the main difference between the Akitsu and the ULX Small is going to be how it feels in the hand. To me, I get more of an inner hand feel in the hump of the Akitsu comparatively to the ULX Small. I like this more than a ULX Small because it's a little bit bigger, which I need. But the mouse is not as big as a Beast X or a ULX Medium. So keep that in mind when you guys are looking for a mouse. It comes in bigger than a Beast X Small, smaller than a Beast X Regular, but again, feels super, super good and is something that with the grips for me, this size mouse, like for me with big hands at 21.5 long or just a smidge over 21.5 long, the mouse does feel really good and pinpoint precise in tack shooters. And again, the performance here on the internals is just immaculate for Valorant. But in Apex, like for heavy tracking games, I'd like to have a little bit more to rely on in terms of stability, like the Maya X that I recently reviewed. But it's just fun for me to even go back to sizes a little bit smaller like this, and I still perform really, really well. It's just like this, for me, is more of like a shotgun or flick type mouse, a wingman mouse, etc., in comparison to a tracking mouse. But I do find that I can do both and perform at a very high level on the Akitsu. Again, like my hand's a little bit more comfortable on something a little bit bigger, but the mouse just performs like an absolute beast. So that's really all I've got for the Arbiter Akitsu. I mean, for their first mouse, they hit a grand slam. Vancer, if this is going to be Vancer's build quality moving into the future, they did an absolutely insane job here. Great mouse, great size, great shape for anybody who likes small mouse. It's going to be one of my top recommendations moving into the future. Again, the only issue will be availability because it's a limited mouse. So if you guys are interested, I hope you're able to get one. I know I'm kind of late in the game in terms of a video and a review. I'm sorry for being so backed up. And again, keep your eyes peeled on Twitter. I'm going to be giving one of these Akitsus away, but you will need to be subbed to the channel as well. And again, I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.